Had I known this earlier, I would have prevented years wasted of my life staying in my comfort zone. Now that I've got out and I'm finally pursuing my business goals, I can see why I was failing. In the next 10 minutes, you might save 10 weeks or even 10 months worth of mistakes that could destroy your productivity. I'll tell you how I wasted my life, how fear is actually the secret to stop, and how to leverage fear to actually start being productive and pursuing your goals. Let me tell you a story which should hopefully make you understand what I mean by this productivity advice that nobody ever actually tells you. So recently, I've come to a realization. In the last few days, I just came to a realization. The work I'm doing with my business, where I'm going, it's just not the right path. The reason for this is basically that my channel is aimed at ambitious young men, right? That's the goal of the channel, and the idea is to make them productive and build their habits. So I've worked with many clients by this point, at least multiple clients. I've got people on a lot of calls. So I've done enough work, and basically I came to a realization recently, just looking back at the people I've worked with, is that this niche, the people I'm targeting, is just never gonna work out. It's never gonna happen. Firstly, it's too vague. Second, the people are actually broke, like they don't have money for me to coach them, for me to actually help them. They don't even have money. And thirdly, they're not even serious. So even if I do get them to convince them, they're not even serious about it. Like, I can't help unserious people. And listen, the good has been way more than the bad, but I just came to a realization. In life, you come to a realization that the path you're currently going on is just not gonna lead to the life you want. I want financial freedom. I want to be free financially. I don't want to constantly think about money like I do right now. This is not gonna happen in this niche. It's not gonna happen with these clients. I'm never gonna be able to charge enough money and make enough money. And that's what I realized recently. And so I had this sort of almost like an existential crisis. That's what happens. Let's say you're working your 9-to-5 job. You realize that you want to be a freelancer. You want to change your life, and you have an existential crisis because it's so difficult. It's like, what do I do? How do I change my life? You're running a business and you want to change something about the business, or you want to start a business, but it's so difficult because it's uncomfortable. That's the position I ended up a few days ago. It was just, should I switch my niche or should I not switch my niche? That was the decision I had to make. And long story short, I sat down, I started sort of thinking, I had this fear, but I started thinking, and I made the decision to switch my niche. So instead of being something vague like young ambitious men who don't have money and are not that serious, now my niche will be, and my business will be changed to specifically targeting entrepreneurs and freelancers with my messaging. The reason for this is because obviously they're much more serious. I'm much more passionate about helping such people, and also, I only have to change my business a little bit and I can achieve financial freedom with this type of audience. Everything about this decision is much better, and I made this decision recently, and this is how I sort of overcame the obstacle. But this is the realization I had yesterday. It was a very interesting realization. This is the best productivity advice that I haven't heard so far, but decisions are important. And one of the key things about decisions is that changing your life, especially the important decisions, especially, this was a very important decision for me. Should I keep this niche and risk staying in the same position in life, or should I switch my niche and do something completely different? What I realized is that behind what I was afraid of is where my deepest desires lie. Fear is actually the key to productivity, because productivity is not just about doing the work. Productivity is about picking the right work in the first place, because if you pick the wrong work, you can end up wasting months. Even though you're technically being productive with your days, you can end up wasting months because you're just doing the work that's never gonna lead to anything. And I've done this mistake in the past where I've made stupid decisions like creating courses that I never actually sold, and I spent hundreds of hours into these courses, never actually sold them. Some of them didn't even release to the public ever, not even for free. So part of productivity is making the right decisions. And what I realize is that the right decisions are always the decisions you are most afraid of. They're literally the decisions you're absolutely terrified to make. I realized that, not all pain is progress. You can definitely have pains in your life which do not lead to progress, but all progress is actually painful. By definition, if you want to make a decision with your life that leads to changing your life and improving your life and reaching the life you desire, that is not your current situation, you have to change something. Changing something means going out of your current comfort zone. You have to somehow change your actions to change your reality. And then going out of your comfort zone, that's painful. And because it's painful and it's risky and it's difficult, this is what makes you afraid. So by definition, if you want to change your life, make that life-changing decision that can actually lead you somewhere, you're always gonna be afraid of it, because it's gonna be outside your comfort zone. Because to change your life, you have to go outside of your comfort zone. And this is the realization I had yesterday. Like, I had made, when I looked back, I sat down, I looked back at my decisions over the past year. I'd made a lot of decisions, specifically important decisions with my life. I was very conscious of making the right decisions. And I had decisions which I'd made about staying the same and staying in my comfort zone, using some type of excuse to justify that decision. And then I'd made a bunch of decisions which were completely out of my comfort zone. Like, doing coaching in the first place was out of my comfort zone. Niching down to discipline was out of my comfort zone. Going to a vacation in Greece to meet a girl was out of my comfort zone. I made so many decisions that were out of my comfort zone. What I realized is that I also made a lot of decisions that were in my comfort zone. And I realized that only the decisions that were outside of my comfort zone led to something good. Even if I failed the actual decision, so even if I took the risk and I actually failed, I learned something from the risk. But when I didn't take the risk, when I was in my comfort zone, well, nothing happened. Nothing materialized. I was just stuck in the same life. So here is my advice for you. Productivity is about being productive, having these systems, yes. But it's also about making the right decision with the type of goal you should set and the type of work you should do. That's like the first step. Nobody mentions the first step of being productive is just the decision on what you have to be productive, because you can do fake productivity where you're productive on a bunch of tasks that don't do anything and you're staying in your comfort zone. So my advice is, before you have to make a decision about a big decision about your life, what you have to work on, let's say you have to change your business, or you want to switch from a 9-to-5 job to being a full-time freelancer, you have to think critically through that decision. Because usually what happens is that the correct decision that will change your life is locked behind a wall of fear, a wall of discomfort, something you don't want to do. Always remember this: the life-changing decision, the one decision that will change your life and that will increase your productivity because it's the right thing to do, is the decision that you are afraid of. So always open a document, set your goals, put the decision there, put the facts there, and ask yourself, am I about to make a decision? Am I about to stay in my comfort zone? Or is this a genuinely life-changing decision that, regardless of the fear, I must make? And this is one of the key aspects of productivity: the ability to think critically and make the right decision despite the fear. I made the decision to switch my niche, and from now on, yesterday I spent most of the day just changing my business to fit the new niche, and from now on I'll make content for the new niche. It's still gonna be productivity, discipline advice, but now it's gonna be focused on freelancers and entrepreneurs. So if you're one, go ahead, click on the link you're seeing right now. I offer 5 free coaching calls basically designed to get you out of a rut, get you out of a procrastination rut so you can start your business, or you can do your freelancing or business job. Whatever you have to do, I'll get you out of a rut in the next 5 days. It's completely free, so click on the link and join the community and you'll find it there. Thank you for watching this video. I made the difficult decision and I genuinely believe this was the right decision. You know, I can sit here now that the fear has subsided. I can genuinely say that this was a much better decision than the one I was about to make before I sat down and faced my fears. So thank you for watching this video. Never let fears dictate your decisions. Bye.